Hello, my little kittens. It's time for another Lost Ark video. Believe it or not, I'm sure you know, pretty much at this time, I do a video a day. Sometimes it's not about Lost Ark, but this week it is because, my god, Lost Ark, we're just gonna sit here. It's gonna be one of those ramble videos where I just throw something on in the background that I'm doing. Probably gonna be dailies on one of my characters, just for some background eyeball candy. But this is going to be more of just a listen along if you're familiar. Basically, we're going to be talking about the future of Lost Ark and sort of the positivity around sort of the projected... I'm not sure the word I'm looking for here. Projected path, I guess, because both Smilegate and Amazon appear to have significantly shifted the direction in which they are obviously carrying public sentiment, and that's a good thing. And public sentiment is shifting because they're actually making good changes. Obviously, both Amazon and Smilegate need to work in union, in tandem, together, because one of them is the publisher and one of them is the developer. And obviously, neither of them alone can do something. You know what I mean? They have to work together. And obviously, not always the easiest thing to do with companies that are overseas, especially with such a massive time zone difference and obviously, like, entirely different culture. But that is all to say, it seems like, knock on wood, of course, you know, little knock on wood, it seems like they have gotten their shit together, so to speak, and they are finally, after about a year and a half, in a groove that works for the both of them, is kind of how I would describe it. Because if you look at this last roadmap, for example, the last live stream from Korea, all that other stuff, you can see just how different things are becoming, right? Things that they hardly even mentioned a couple months ago are now being literally fixed and added to the game nearly instantaneously. I'm talking about the Guardian Raid and Chaos Dungeon thing, obviously. Because that was something that the Korean players had been asking for. Obviously, they weren't as big on it as we were, but the additional pressure from the West, I'm sure, helped their decision-making, especially since I can assume Amazon were obviously relaying public sentiment from the West as well. I'm just happy that they went from basically having no plans to making a plan and delivering that plan all within a very short time span. It was like within a month, right? From them saying, we have no current plans, to then them having a plan and then implementing that plan into the game. And we are also getting said changes way sooner than I think we realistically should. Obviously, I'm sure it's like a special niche case in this specific circumstance, right? Because I'm sure Amazon was like, yo, if you give us this change, this will look real good. Obviously, the Western players are complaining about it as well, so if we get it now, that would be like a big dubski. And that's kind of what I mean. The communication between the two of them just seems to be a lot better than it used to be in the past. And I think that was one of the biggest issues with our version of the game, was just the fact that their communication was that of, like, a high school couple in a relationship, and now they're, like, you know, they're, like, nearing their 30s, they're, like, sort of got their shit together, but not really, but they can sort of talk about it and talk through it. I don't know what the fuck that metaphor was, but you don't come here for the wisdom. You come here because honestly, I don't know. A lot of different reasons. Hopefully, it's because you like me, because I like you. And if you don't like me and I like you, that's a one-way street, and that's kind of awkward. That is to say, that one-way street is no longer a one-way street for Smilegate and Amazon. It does seem like they're working in tandem together, in perfect harmony, if you will. A cacophony. Get it? That's because I'm on my bard. I'm funny. Laugh at my jokes. I'll take a pity laugh, too. I don't really care. Anyways, I just kind of wanted to make a video and say how truly excited I am for both the August patch and the following patches to come. And I know a lot of people are like hesitant, and to that I say absolutely fair. You know, you can absolutely be positive, but also hesitant. You know, cautiously optimistic, if you will. And that's something that I would have considered myself before all this. And obviously I would get a lot of shit for it from certain people who disagreed with me being cautiously optimistic about the game. But I kind of saw what they were trying to do. And it's just a matter of, were they able to pull off what they were trying to do in terms of communication, in terms of adding to the game, in terms of fixing QOL with the game that a lot of people had issues with. And I think they're doing a good job now. Genuinely a good job. And I see a lot of people being very critical about the Jumpstart servers, which I can totally understand as well. But I do think the Jumpstart servers will be a good thing if done correctly, and I do have faith in Amazon and Smilegate to, if the Jumpstart servers are missing their mark, missing their targeted goal, their targeted audience, that they will make active changes to push it towards the direction they want it to go in. I genuinely do believe that they will do the right thing. And maybe it's naive of me to say that, but I have faith in Amazon and Smilegate at this point. Because they've shown, especially in recent times, that they kind of give a shit, and they both kind of understand that this version needs to be a little bit different than the Korean version. Just because the culture difference, right? And it's nice to see that Amazon understands that we need something to bring new players back into the game. And it's good that they see the issues with the new player experience. Obviously, there are some issues with the idea around the Jumpstart servers. But I think if it ends up being like a couple month-long season with no incentives for older players, because older players should not feel incentivized to reroll, because this is not a game where seasons would necessarily work in the traditional sense. But if it's a server made for newer players, well, not necessarily made for newer players, but targeted towards newer players specifically, to foster that sort of new player experience that some of us day one players had. If you were here from day one or very early on, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, where, I mean, you joined a vault and lobby, you probably ended up wiping for like an hour trying to reclear. You know, stuff like that. Because not everybody was super overgeared, not everybody was super familiar with the raids, not everybody was super good at the game, etc., etc. You know, just the genuine new player experience. And if there's no incentive for older players, then the incentive for older players would be, okay, do you want to try out the new player server with, like, your friend that's starting the game? Because you can do that, and I think that should be allowed. I don't think older players should be disbarred from playing. And I do think at the end of the quote-unquote season, the servers will merge into the... Okay, so let me back up for a second. I know I'm done with this Chaos Dungeon, but I want to address this for a second. I think this is soft confirming that each region is going to have one mega server. The reason I say that is because I'm 99% sure that these quote-unquote seasonal servers will merge into a server. And it makes sense to merge it into a server rather than having people pick a server or whatever, because then you have an issue where people will just pick one server and then it gets lopsided and populated. You see it with like WoW, WoW Classic, etc., etc. So it makes sense to me that they are going to merge all the other smaller servers into one mega server per region, and then the seasonal server will periodically shut down and then merge all those characters with the big server. Anyways, I could be wrong, but I just wanted to make a video talking about the positive outlook of this game because goddamn am I happy for it, and I'm glad to see that other people are finally being a little bit cautiously optimistic, if not outright happy as well, because again, the changes are good and I love it. We need more of that, and I am safely going to say we are probably going to continue to get more of it because they have finally sort of settled into their groove. Anyways, thank you guys for watching my rambly rantosaurus rex. I'll see you guys all in the next one. As always, thank you. Like the video if you like it, dislike it, dislike it, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And thank you to my YouTube members. Consider becoming a YouTube member. My tier 2s, Blitzel, Remix My Life, Airzyke, Peachy, and Jacob. You guys are the best. And thank you to all my tier 1s, It's Biscuits, Ender, Diz, Clouded, Dangerous, Joxini, Prince Nation, and Claderp. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios.